Okay, what is a function and when we use functions in Matlab? So in Matlab, functions, they look like a cookie machine. So what I call it a cookie machine, because cookie machine, what it does, it get the ingredients and then at the end it give you cookies. So in this case, what we call this input, and then I'm going to get my output. And this cookie machine, this is your function. So when we say function, meaning that we have a third party, right? A third party processor that it will take care of it for us. So for instance, if I want to calculate the average, if I want to calculate to solve a quadratic equation, some stuff that Matlab doesn't have it as a function, I can define that function. I can give it to a third party, and then every time I give the ingredient and I get the output. So the way the syntax look like, so if you want to write a function in a separate file in Matlab, so if this is your file, you need to name your file. When you save your file, you have to save your file with the name of your function. So for instance, if I want to write a function to find the root of a quadratic function, so I would say, again, in the beginning of my file, I will put function space, then your output. So what will be my output in the cookie machine? In a quadratic equation, the ingredients are, again, quadratic equation look like this, right? A, bx plus c equal to 0. I want to find the roots of this. And then my output will be x1, x2. So in this example, input will be A, B, C. Output will be x1 and x2. So the format in Matlab, it looks like this. So I'm going to say, again, for this specific example, I'm going to say x1, x2. Give me these two. I need to name my function. So I want to call this cookie machine quad.m. So again, I'm going to use a small letter. Sorry about that. No capital letter. So I'm going to name my file quad.m. And then down here, I'm going to put equal to quad of A, B, C. So on the top line, I define what's going on. These are the ingredients: flour, sugar, whatever is that. And then I want to get chocolate chip cookies, raisin cookies. I forgot the name of the other one. M&M. I like the one that has like little peanut on there. So Reese cookies in there. So depending on what types of output we want to get, we can call them here. Now, if I run this code, the program will ask me for ABC. If I give ABC, it doesn't know what x1, x2 is. It's going to give me error. So in a quadratic equation, the root of a quadratic equation, I know that x1 is equal to minus b plus root square of b to the power of 2 minus 4ac divided by 2a. For simplicity, you can call this thing as delta, right? So I can say delta is equal to b squared minus 4ac. And one root is this, the other root is just this become a minus, right? So you can say x1 is equal to minus b plus delta, plus root of delta divided by 2a, and x2 is equal to minus b plus, I used the plus already. Okay, this deleted everything. Minus b minus root of delta over 2a. So in my code, I'm going to say delta is equal to b to the power of 2 minus 4 times a times c. Then I'm going to say x1 is equal to minus b plus sqrt, which means the square root of delta. You see, everything in numerator should go to a parenthesis, right? Divided by 2 times a. Again, I use parentheses for denominator too because it will be divided by both of them. And x2 will be similarly equal to minus b minus this time sqrt of delta, parenthesis close, divided by 2 times a. Remember to put a parenthesis here. So I already prepared this on Octave Online. Now in Octave Online, I create a file and I call that file quad.m, and this is the file. I wrote the same syntax I said there. x1, x2 is equal to quad of a, b, c. delta is equal to b to the power of 2, and then the rest of the code is the same. Pay attention that the name here is the same as the name here. If they are not the same, you're going to see errors. Now, if I save this, run it, it's going to ask me for ABC. I don't want to give the ABC here. I want to call this function later on. So if I call this function, I can call it in the command line. Then I can say, for instance, give me x1, x2, give me the two roots for quad of, like for instance, I'm going to assume my function is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So it will be x to the power of 2. X squared is 1, 2, 1. So there are two roots, both of them are the same, minus 1, minus 1. Now I can repeat it for a different number, like 3x, 2, and then down here I'm going to put 6. I know this doesn't have any real root, it has imaginary roots, because the delta become negative. It finds the imaginary roots for me as well. So this is what we call it in the command line call. Sometimes you can call it inside your code. Right? I have a code here. Now inside this code CLC, I can call that. Right? Inside CLC clear. Inside this code I can call that function. My bad. Clear. I can say, okay, calling that function, I'm going to call quad of 2, 3, 4, or simply I can put them as an input. Let me just put A, B, C, and then I'm gonna ask to give me the roots of x1 and x2 equal to. So down here, if I want to ask the user to give me ABC, I'm gonna say A is equal to, or I can say ABC, ABC. That's 3 numbers equal to input. In input you can say give me your A, B, C of the quadratic formula. If I save run this, so it asks me for A, B, C. I'm going to say A is 3, B is 5, and C is 7. Again, it gave me an error. The reason it gave me an error because I have to separate them with comma, I believe. Okay, I'm going to say 3, comma, 4, comma, 5. Invalid statement. So I guess I need to separate this as like 3 times. I can have it like as 3 times input, or let me just to separate it here with comma to see whether that fixed here. A little bit lazy, don't want to go over all this thing again. No. So for the listing, I guess I need to delete this, and I ask you A, give me A for quadratic formula. Again, this is very stupid way to do it. And then I can repeat this for the rest of it, for B and C. I could put ABC in one single vector and call that. That's another possible way to do it. But again, this is again a little bit long way. Okay, give me A. I'm going to say A is 3, B is 5, and then C is 8. So give me the 3 roots for it. So you see, you can call this quad into the program, or you can call it from this command line here. Both options. So next problem is giving us to write a function to calculate sum of numbers. That's a little bit easy, so I don't go over that. And then there was one question that write a function to find the sum of odd numbers between 2. So this was the question. The question was that write a function to find the sum of odd numbers between A and B. For instance, A could be 1, B could be 100. So I want to find the sum of odd numbers between A and B. So in this case, my cookie machine will be, I'm going to call that sum, summation, right? Sum of odd numbers between A and B. So my cookie machine, I want to call it sum odd. Ingredients that come to this is A and B, the first number, the last number. The stuff that's coming out of this, I'm going to call that W. So W will be like a new variable. That will be sum of odd numbers between A and B. Now, in this case, I know that, again, I need to think about an algorithm, think about functions. So I know the top line of my function should be function W is equal to sum odd of A comma B. So I have two input A, B, and then this is how I'm going to call my function. In the name of the file, I'm going to name my file sumodd.m. Very necessary to use the same name. Now in calculation, I have the first number, I have the last number. I know what to do. I can create a loop between these two numbers and check where that number is odd or even, right? So again, it's stuff are going in my head, but you could actually write that algorithm. If my first number is A, the last number is B, so I want to start from A, I start from A and then check whether A is odd or not. How can we check if the number is odd or not? Is a remainder by 2. If a remainder of the number, you start with A, you can say A and 2, remainder of A and 2 is 1, then this will be an odd number. Then I bring it to the other side, that loop, and then I add it to that. So W is in the beginning is 0. We haven't done any sum. Again, W in the beginning is 0. So I'm going to say for, I put a counter there, I'm going to call that counter I. I is equal to A colon B, meaning that go from number A, from the first number, this is an integer number, until B, and then increment of 1. So increase 1 by 1. Now, I need to put that condition in there. This is the condition, right? So in this condition, I'm going to say if rem of, you see I put a little bit of a spacing here, indent, just to be for your program to look more beautiful and be readable. Sometimes the program does it by itself. If rem of I comma 2, again, in this parenthesis is not necessary. In C you have to put it, but in Matlab it's not necessary. So is equal to 1. So this will be condition that number is odd. If that's happening, so add the W, say W is equal to W plus I. And then put an end here, put an end here. At the end you can say f print f. Okay, when you put f print f, you can say the sum of odd numbers between %d. The first %d is for A, and %d, the second %d is for B, is %d. So then you put a comma here. After your comma, you put the first number as A, the second number as B, and the last number as W. So let me just to go to Octave Online and write this code, and we should be all set to go. So in Octave Online, I already created that file. I named that file. Again, you can create the file here, by the way. I call that file sum odd, and then I already said that W equal to 0, I is equal to A to B, if is odd, so if the number is odd, add it to that loop, otherwise just end it. Now I'm going to add this line to it, f print f, sum of, you see, you notice my error here, I forgot to put the prime here, sum of odd numbers between A and B is W, comma A, comma B, comma W. Again, before I close this, I need to know, instead of A, I have to put %d here. Instead of B here, I have to put %d. And instead of W, I have to put another %d. So if I run this program, it will calculate it for me. You can put \n at the end of it just to make that line of separation. So remember, after you did that, you have to save your function. I've seen many of you say that I changed it, it didn't work, but you forgot to save it. You have to say in the function. So now let me just to call the function. So I'm going to say w equal to sum of, again, sum odd. This is the new function, right, that we created. Sum odd, give me every odd number between 8 and 200. It's okay. And they give me, the answer is the sum of odd numbers between 8 and 200 is 9984. So thank you for